What a drive from Bruno Fernandes!
In the 2025-2026 Premier League season, Bruno Fernandes created approximately 100 chances for his teammates.
Captain, leader.
The second highest total in the league was 58. He finished the season with 21 assists, equaling the all-time Premier League record set by Thierry and Kevin De Bruyne.
Special.
Say magician.
2 words. World class.
He became only the third Manchester United player in history to reach 100 goals and 100 assists for the club, joining Ryan Giggs and Wayne Rooney. He was named FWA Footballer of the Year, the first United player to win the award since Rooney in 2010.
Bruno Fernandes shoots and scores!
And then the World Cup qualifying began, and Portugal played Hungary, and Bruno Fernandes was on the pitch for 85 minutes. He scored 0 goals, he registered 0 assists. This is the Bruno Fernandes problem, not a problem of quality. The quality is beyond dispute. Not a problem of effort or character or commitment. The problem is this: the best creative midfielder in England right now, perhaps in a generation, has never consistently produced at international level what he produces every week at Old Trafford. And in the summer of 2026, Portugal go to the World Cup needing him to finally solve it. Bruno Miguel Borges Fernandes was born in Maia, near Porto, in September 1994. He started playing football at 5 years old at a local club called FC Infesta, where his aggression and fearlessness were so pronounced that referees sometimes asked his coach to substitute him before they were forced to send him off. He was 5 years old, playing against 7-year-olds, and refusing to be intimidated by any of them. At 17, he left Portugal for Italy and signed with Novara. Within 3 months, he had been promoted to the first team. He moved to Udinese, then Sampdoria, developing under a manager he has described as a father figure, a man who gave him the foundation to express himself without fear. At 22, he returned to Portugal and signed for Sporting CP, where he scored 20 goals and added 13 assists in his first full season, numbers that were almost unheard of for a midfielder. Every major club in Europe wanted him. He was on the verge of signing for Tottenham before Sporting refused to sell. In January 2020, the phone call he had dreamed about since childhood finally came. Manchester United. He was in his wardrobe getting ready for bed when his agent rang. He did not speak for 20 seconds. His wife walked in and found him crying. He told her. She said, "Why are you crying? This is what you have been waiting for." He left for England the next day. What Bruno Fernandes has done at Manchester United across 6 seasons is one of the more remarkable individual contributions to a club in Premier League history. No player in the league has more assists since his arrival in January 2020. He has won more Club Player of the Year awards than any other United player. He has scored more goals than all but 5 players in the league's history in his position. But it is the 2025-2026 season that defines the scale of what he is capable of. 21 assists in the Premier League, equaling the all-time record. 100 chances created in the league alone, nearly double the second highest total. 100 goals and 100 assists for United in total, a milestone only Giggs and Rooney had previously reached. 200 goal contributions in 314 games, the second fastest in the club's history, behind only Wayne Rooney. He plays in a way that almost no one else in elite football does. He takes the risk. He plays the dangerous pass, the through ball, the diagonal that cuts open a defense. He has described it himself. His job is to find his teammates in positions where the probability of scoring is highest, even if that means losing the ball sometimes. In a game contaminated by sideways passes and backwards recycling, Bruno Fernandes still looks forward. Always. The data from Bruno Fernandes' international career tells a more complicated story. Not a bad story, but a complicated one. At the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, he was outstanding. 2 goals and 3 assists in 4 matches. His best tournament by some distance. He was the player Portugal needed him to be, the creative engine driving a squad that reached the quarterfinals before losing to Morocco. That World Cup showed what Bruno Fernandes can look like in international football when everything aligns. The Euro 2024 campaign was the opposite. 4 games, 0 goals, 1 assist. Portugal eliminated in the quarterfinals against France on penalties. In the Nations League final against Spain in June 2025, 120 minutes, the biggest game Portugal had played in years, Bruno Fernandes produced 0 goals and 0 assists. Portugal lost on penalties. The man who created 100 chances in an English league season could not find one that led to a goal in the final of a European competition. The pattern across his entire international career is striking. In UEFA Euros, the competition Portugal most want to win, the competition that carries the most weight in the country, he has played 8 games and contributed 1 assist. In World Cup football, he has been better. 6 games, 2 goals, 4 assists across 2 tournaments. But the Euros remain a blank. And the World Cup of 2018, his first, brought 0 contributions in 2 appearances. To understand why Bruno Fernandes' international numbers look different from his club numbers, you have to understand the context in which he plays for Portugal. At Manchester United, he is the system. The team is built to maximize what he does: the forward pass, the chance creation, the willingness to take risks in the final third. Every tactical decision amplifies his strengths. For Portugal, the system has historically been built around different priorities. For most of his international career, the squad was organized around Cristiano Ronaldo, a player who occupied the central spaces, demanded the ball in the positions where Bruno Fernandes is most dangerous, and whose presence inevitably altered the geometry of what Portugal could do in attack. The question of how 2 players who both want to be the decisive figure in the final third coexist in the same team was never fully resolved. There is also the tactical dimension. At United, Bruno plays as a number 10 with freedom, the license to drift, to find pockets, to receive the ball in the spaces where he can hurt defenders. For Portugal, the system has at times asked him to play deeper, to contribute more defensively, to sacrifice some of the freedom that makes him so dangerous at club level. When he plays alongside João Neves in the Portugal midfield, one of the best young midfielders in the world, the question of who controls the game and who creates ahead of it has not always had a clean answer. His own statistics suggest he is at his best when given the freedom to attack. His on-off data for Portugal shows positive numbers in recent years. Portugal score more with him on the pitch than without him. But the raw output in elimination football, the moments that define tournaments, has not yet matched what he produces week after week in England. The 2026 World Cup in the United States, Mexico, and Canada represents something specific for Bruno Fernandes. He will be 31 years old. It will almost certainly be his last World Cup, and he will arrive as arguably the best midfielder in English football, carrying a record that includes equaling the all-time Premier League assists record, winning the FWA Footballer of the Year, and producing numbers that place him alongside the greatest players in the history of his club. Portugal's squad is formidable. João Neves at 21 is already one of the best midfielders in Europe. Nuno Mendes is the best left-back in the world. Rafael Leão, Bernardo Silva, Vitinha. The talent around Bruno Fernandes is the deepest it has been in any tournament of his international career. And for the first time, Portugal go to a World Cup without the weight of Cristiano Ronaldo's dominance shaping every tactical decision around him. That last point matters more than almost anything else. The Portugal of 2026 can be built differently. It can be built around what Bruno Fernandes actually does: the forward pass, the chance creation, the risk that unlocks defenses. Manager Roberto Martinez, who has described Bruno as the best attacking midfielder he has ever seen, has the pieces to construct a system that finally gives him what Manchester United give him every week. The question is whether they will. Portugal's history in major tournaments is a history of talent not fully realized, of squads that had the quality to go further than they did, of systems that constrained rather than liberated. The 2016 European Championship was won despite this tendency, not because of it. The World Cup has remained elusive. The 2025 Nations League final, lost on penalties to Spain, was the most recent reminder that reaching the decisive moments does not guarantee winning them. So here is the problem, stated plainly. Bruno Fernandes is the most prolific chance creator in the history of the Premier League by some measures. He is a player who has redefined what a midfielder can produce at the highest level of club football. And yet, in 8 European Championship appearances across his career, he has scored 0 goals and contributed 1 assist. That is not a coincidence. It is not bad luck. It is the product of systems that did not maximize him, of tournaments where the specific pressures of international football produced a more conservative version of the player who terrifies defenses in England every week. The 2026 World Cup is his last best chance to change that verdict. To produce in a Portugal shirt what he has spent 6 years producing at Old Trafford. To be, for a tournament that lasts a month, the version of himself that created 100 chances in a season, the version his club sees every week and his country has seen only in flashes. Portugal have the squad, they have the manager, they have the players around him to make it work. The only question that remains is the same question that has followed Bruno Fernandes throughout his international career. Can he do it when it matters most? He said it himself in an interview that revealed everything about what drives him. He has won the Premier League assists record, he has won the FWA Footballer of the Year, he has 100 goals and 100 assists for his club. And yet when asked what the biggest achievement of his career would be, he did not hesitate. The World Cup, representing his nation. That is the one that matters most. The 2026 World Cup has a serious Bruno Fernandes problem. The question is which kind? The kind where he is too good to be stopped, or the kind where the greatest creative midfielder of his generation goes to his last World Cup and leaves without the answer, the question he has been trying to answer his entire international career.